Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to do something a little bit different that I haven't posted online. Painted John's bug probably about a month ago here. Yukon yellow. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to walk you through how I do, I call it cut and buff. Some people call it color sanding. And what we're looking to do is it turned out very well. It's a very, shiny paint job. But I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it if I get you in the light just right. We have some orange peel in our paint a little bit. It's not terrible. But what we're looking to do is get rid of that. If we look at our lights, you can kind of see how they're not a nice straight line, and that's the orange peel kind of messing things up a little bit. So we want to fix that, and we're going to do that by taking our nice shiny paint job and sanding it and making it dull. Now I have 3 coats of high solids clear. And what I use, I've got Revolt Auto Paint. Check them out. You deal with the owner, Tammy, she's great. Best customer service you're ever gonna get. So give them a shot, but it's 66% solids. I have 3 coats of that on there, heavy coats. And what we're going to do is I'm going to start with 1,000 grit. If you have a lot more orange peel, you could start with say 800. But I think I'm okay. I'm going to start with 1,000 grit and go from there. You can start, some people will say, oh, you better start with, 1,200, 1,500. And you can. But it's just going to take you a lot longer to flatten out this panel and get rid of the orange peel. So starting with something a little more coarse is going to help the process. Obviously you need to be very careful. We don't want to burn through our nice paint job. I've done that. You learn how to cuss. So you're going to want to be very careful on your edges. Like this, and just never sand in the same spot continuously. So what I do is I take a block like this and I take my sandpaper, and that's how I'm going to go about doing that. Let's back you up a little bit, and then I have a bottle of water. Now I know some people I've seen where they'll take and keep dumping it in a bucket. For me it's just easier to spray. And I can keep it wet continuously and let it continue to clean. So we're going to start out by just start sanding. Nice and light, let the paper do its work. And you'll see that I'm starting to cut the clear because I've got white. That's the clear. Now I'm just going to kind of go over some of this a little bit. Then you can take so I want to show you now. Probably be able to see it better, is now that it's dull, you can kind of see the orange peel better. You can see the dull spots where I'm taking off the top of the orange peel, and then there's a little shiny stuff yet, and that's what we're trying to do is flatten this out completely. So I'm going to continue to do that until it's all flattened out with our 1000 grit. Do we need to do this? No. But all of my paint jobs get it. It's just the way I do it. I'm picky that way. I don't do just quick paint jobs. They all get cut and buffed, even if they look good. Because you're always going to have some orange peel, you're always going to have some dirt, nibs that you need to get out. And if you're like me, you probably have a bunch of runs. Actually did pretty good on this job. Very few at all. Really like the way this clear sprays. We're just going to keep sanding. And as I'm sanding, I'm keep spraying the water to wash away our sludge. You see, it takes time because we're going to end up, I'll step up to 1200, 1500, and then 2000. So you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm going to let you go for a bit. And when I get done sanding this with the 1000 grit, I'll bring you back and show you where we're at. Okay? Okay, I'm getting close to getting this pretty much done with my 1000 grit. And I'm sure I've missed areas where there was thicker orange peel or whatnot. So what I'm going to do, you can get a squeegee, or a lot of times I just use my block. And I kind of squeegee the water and residue off. So we can check our progress. We can wipe it. Then it'll start to dry. Sometimes what also helps too, I'll take the air nozzle just to dry it off. Because what we're looking for I can see right here I missed a little bit, and I can still see some shiny, and I can see the orange peel a little bit where I didn't quite sand enough. Same with, along these edges, because I was being careful along here. It's looking pretty good for most of the areas. Now with my 1000 grit, I try not to get into my body lines too much. It's harder to buff those because they're more concaved in there, so it's tougher to get the scratches out. So I usually won't go in there with the 1000 grit. I'll wait until I get 1500 to kind of scuff that up, and usually that's okay because your paint usually flows really well where there's an edge or something like that, so we really don't get the orange peel in there unless you really dry sprayed it or something. But yeah, I can see a lot of a couple right here is a lot where I missed the orange peel, so I'm gonna have to go over that a little bit more. Right now with my spots that I've kind of missed, but I want to be very careful that I don't take that edge off. So let's wipe this down again. I know the biggest thing, you get a nice shiny paint job and you make it dull, but it's worth it. So I would say I've got the majority, I shouldn't say the majority, I've got the orange peel out. And it looks like I haven't missed any areas anymore. So the next step that I'll do is I'm going to put some guide coat on here. So let me go get that. Okay. Now the reason I use guide coat, when we were sanding with our 1000 grit, you notice how it was hard to tell when I missed certain areas that were had the orange peel yet because everything was wet. So you got to remember what our purpose is now when we're going to our next level of sanding is we want to get rid of all these 1000 grit sand marks. So when we put a guide coat on here, we're filling in. The guide coat is going into them 1000 grit scratches. Now here's another thing that the guide coat is going to help you see. It'll show where I've missed some of the orange peel a little bit. Right through here, where I didn't, because I didn't want to get too close to that edge. You can see there's some here. So that'll help you if you got it really bad. I didn't miss a lot, and I don't want to get into this body line too much with the 1000 grit, so I'm not going to do any more with that. I'm going to go up to my 1200, and then I'll start working that out. So I've got 1200 grit now. And we're going to basically start sanding again to get rid of our 1000 grit scratch marks. And as we do this, you can see I'm taking off the guide coat, but you can see I still have 1000 grit scratches because there's still guide coat in those scratches. So that's why I like the guide coat, because now I know my 1000 grit scratches are gone from here. And it don't take as long when you're going up in grit. Your first sanding, like with the 1000, takes a little bit more work because you're trying to flatten this panel out and get rid of that orange peel. Now we're just trying to get rid of our other marks. You know, if you don't have the guide coat on here, you're sanding and you naturally miss areas, but you don't know that you missed it per se. So then when it comes time to buff, you still got those deeper scratches in there. tough to get out. Now let's bring you up a little bit here. So I'm going to start doing this edge here a little bit. And the guide coat's going to help tell me when that orange peel is gone too. So you can kind of see where I'm at, what I'm trying to accomplish here. And it helps with the guide coat too, because now I can spray like this and it cleans everything off. And you can see where I didn't get those areas. That's what we're looking for. And I can be much more careful in here. You know that I don't need to put a lot of pressure to get that cleaned out and get the scratches out of there. So let me continue doing this and I'll bring you back when I got this just about done with our 1200 grit. Okay? Okay. Got everything sanded off. I believe I have all of my marks out of there. Let's take and clean up our panel here. See if we missed anything. Oh, a nice white color like this, lighter color. It's easier to see our guide coat and scratches. See, we're starting to get a nice flat panel here. Getting all of our orange peel out. So now I've got the 1200. We're going to rinse and repeat, basically. We're going to guide coat again. And then we're going to go over just with 1500. Get all that scratch marks out sanding grits. So here's my 1500 upside down. And I'm just going to start over and sand again. As you start getting up into your finer grits, it'll sand much quicker and easier to get the marks out from before. So let me finish up with 1500. We'll come back and rinse and repeat and do 2000. All right. So I'm almost done with the 2000. I finished up the 1500. I came back, dried it off, guide coated it, and now I've got 2000 on here, and I'm just about done with the 2000. You can see it sands a lot easier when you start getting up to the finer grits. Get your guide coat off. I don't know if you can see it. And right here, you can see a real fine hint of darkness. That's where I kind of missed. So we've got some sanding scratches there that I missed with the 2000. So that's how the guide coat is helping us out. Kind of just going back down it to clean off all the sludge and look for any more spots that I may have missed. So that looks pretty decent. I'm going to go through, dry it off. Okay. Now what I'll do is I have some 3000 grit. And I don't spend a ton of time with this. 2000 usually is pretty good at getting all the stuff out. And my cutting compound takes out 2000 scratches pretty good. It'll take out up to I think 1200, but makes it easier the finer. And I'll usually go over it with this 3000. Especially in the areas, the rounded edges, and in these ear spots to make sure there's nothing. You know, it almost feels like you're not doing anything when you're sanding with this, but you can see it's taking something off. See how much stuff I'm taking off. A lot of sanding goes into a paint job. You know, a lot of people don't realize why it costs so much. You want a good paint job. You can see how many times I've wet sanded this with the different grits. And so many times even before that, before I painted, where I had a block sand and wet sand. So a lot of sanding goes into a car. A lot of labor. So we've got that. All flattened out. You can see there's actually some shine in there. I don't know how well you guys can see that through the camera, but we're pretty smooth with our 3000. We're getting some shine back. So the next step now is to start buffing. I start out with a wool pad. I've got a cordless, Milwaukee cordless buffer. You can set your RPMs. Generally, 1200 RPM is about the highest I go. This paint has been sitting for well over a month, so it's pretty dry. So I'll go up that high, but if it's fresher paint, like a week or two, I'll usually stay at 1,000. You don't want to go too fast because you don't want to heat this up and burn your paint. The other thing that happens if you're going too fast, is you've got your compound all shaped up. And we always start in just small areas. As I'm buffing this, you see I'm staying in that same spot, but I'm always keeping my buffer moving. Now if we're going too fast, or we have our RPMs too high, we're not only going to burn the paint, but we're going to heat this compound up and it's going to dry out real fast and turn into like a paste. And that'll kind of stick to the paint, and you'll be buffing and nothing will happen because you're kind of buffing on top of that layer there. So whenever you get done with your one spot, always take a rag and wipe it off to make sure you got any residue off of there. If you're gonna start, just keep working one area. What I like to do is I like to come along all my edges and get those worked. Because it seems like when I'm doing this, I tend to kind of miss my edges. So I'll come through and I'll work all my edges first. Then when I do this, I'll be catching them again. I'll also come through like on my body lines here, and I'll do those and I'll spend some time on them first. And I'll show you how I kind of do that on those. So I'll put a bead of compound in there. And you want to even be slower in here, because you don't want to heat up these other areas. So my thing has a variable speed trigger on it. So I keep it kind of low in there, and I just kind of keep working to try to get these tips of my pad to get down into that body line to shine them back out. And if you go too fast or have your RPM too much, you'll get that drying out effect that I was talking about. Because you're kind of concentrating on one area here. You want to kind of keep a wet edge. Take your time. You want to keep it nice, slow enough to let the compound work, and don't push hard on this. Let the wheel kind of do itself. Come back and bit of edge here. And notice how I just kind of go slow and let the compound work in that spot. You know, if you go like this, you're kind of just spreading out your compound and nothing really happens. You want to let it kind of just stay there without holding it in one spot, but just let it do its thing. But yet at the same time, always keep your pad moving. And then I'll, just kind of work different ways. Get all your spots you may miss. Let's wipe her off. So it looks like, sit down here. Yep, that's looking really good right there. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to do this edge. See if you can kind of see in here where it's shiny as we come over and we hit the dull again. We're slowly working our way. Wipe off. See, this is all nice through there. Like I said, once you do your edges, then you can keep going back and forth. And do my edge down the bottom here. We got a dead battery. Let me go grab a new battery. Okay. Batteries actually last quite a while. I've been buffing most of the day with that one battery, so. My rig fell in there. So let's do the edge here by where the door goes. Rig there. It's looking pretty. John is going to be happy when he sees it. So now I got my edges, I'll come back down here and I'm going to start working my way up the panel. I'll take a look in the light to see if I missed. I'd say right now I'm good to right about here. I'm pretty shiny through here, but when we get right into here, we start getting all of our dulls, so we're starting to make progress. So now I'm gonna, like I said, we're good here, and I'll usually put my compound right in that haze area that was partially done. And we'll go through and work it again. Now I'll look. Basically what I'm looking at is I'm letting the light reflect off of here, and then I can see if there's any little fine scratches yet in there. And you will. You'll look in the light and you'll think you have it, and you'll come back and you'll lay at a different angle and oh crap, I missed a spot. So it takes some time. Wiping off helps get any of the starting to dry out compound out of your sanding scratches. We're good till right about here. And right here is our next haze spot. Okay, I'm going to move. Now I'm going to got everything up to here. So we're going to start working this edge better. Now we did remember doing that body line. We got our last little bit here to do. We've got everything up to our body line. Now we can start working this little flat spot. And you know, it's narrow, but it'll probably take 2 times of doing this, because I'll concentrate my first efforts on the bottom half here. And I'll probably slow my RPMs down a little bit. Let's wipe her off. Decent. I actually got most of that little section with that. Come right along here. Oops. I'm going to start kind of going real slow and start working on this little bump. Nice and easy. Ooh, that's looking pretty. I can see a little bit right through the center kind of now. I can go a little bit more. Probably because I don't have my RPM up real high either. It doesn't cut as fast. Okay. We got thunder down there. can check things out. I'm going to be very slow in here. Now what I'm going to do is we got a little helper here anyway. Say hi, Tom. Right in here where I sanded, it's hard to get the buffer in there. So I'll put a little bit of, let's show you that again. It's right in here. So put a little bit of compound on my rag. And I'm gonna, hey, you give me my rag back. Okay. Now as I sand more of this, then I'll finish into here. But that's essentially how I do this. You can see our lights are much straighter now. Much clearer, we can see them in there. We're a lot flatter. We had all that orange peel up here that's gone. You know, and I'll keep looking at it at different angles. Tom will too. You better not scratch it, right? That looks pretty darn good. So that's my process for cutting and buffing. Takes time, but it looks awesome when it's done. Now if we were outside of the paint booth here and we looked into this, and if it was even a little darker, we'd have a really cool reflection that we could just see everything in there. So that's what makes them look awesome. Now when we start putting our chrome on and all that stuff, that'll just accent everything. So hope this helped you out. Hope you learned a little something from it. If you got any questions, let me know. Maybe I'll do a few quick little shorts on some of the other spots there. But please like this if you like it. Please subscribe to the channel. Helps me out. Until next time, you got any requests, let me know too. Thanks, guys.